What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Not a lot going on today in the garage. I'm at a standstill with the RFZ project. I did a lot of picking and choosing between some wheel colors and some different parts yesterday, and kind of got it mocked up and took a photo, posted on Instagram, and also posted it in some of the groups on Facebook. But a lot more of that to come, you guys will see, and can't wait for you to see the choices. And yeah, not a lot going on today, like I said, but I decided I would do a review of my Apollo race bike, which I do have running again, which I've been riding for the past 2 days like crazy just around the neighborhood due to COVID-19 coronavirus taking over and closing all of our tracks. So I'm getting seat time in where I can in between fields, going off-roading, some free riding, some urban moto. But I thought I would show you guys what I've gotten done to the bike, kind of explain it in depth, why I chose that setup that I'm with right now, and let you guys be the judge of it. All right, so here she is. Here is my 125cc Apollo Db99, or as some people classify it as DB007 with the small tire. It's got the 12-inch rear, 14-inch front. I like it. This is actually my favorite bike. I did a lot of looking for this bike for a very, very long time because I used to own one, and it was by far the best pit bike build I've ever done. The only thing I don't like that Apollo has done is given us this steel tank, because it has a lot of problems with rust, and that rust gets down into the carburetor and it makes the bike run really, really funky. I have the bike dressed up in white CRF 70 style plastics because this is the plastics that the bike takes. They were $38.99 with free shipping to my door from a store called TDR Moto Pro on eBay, which is a local warehouse here in Dallas. So they came in like 2 days. I'm also ordering from them here soon because I plan on doing another set of plastics because this bike was supposed to be undergoing version 2 V2, and the only thing that happened was the frame got painted, and as you can see from gas and oils and everything, it's starting to come off. And I also painted the swing arm as well, and that's starting to rub off between riding and rubbing trees and branches and stuff like that. And I have the number backgrounds from my sponsor, Bike Graphics. Bike Graphics is a sponsor of this bike because we were racing mini nationals, Pitbike nationals for Mini X, and that got canceled out, but they were able to get me that in time. I will be designing a full graphics kit with them here soon for version 2, and then also we'll be changing up the backgrounds and stuff like that. But we will be keeping them on these plastics because these plastics will be hung on the wall, or you never know, I might do a giveaway or something with them if the channel gets pretty big. But yeah, it's outfitted in that. It's got my number on it. It's got the AMA. It's got the AMA Pro Racing. Put my last name up there. I like that they include that you can cover up the bolts and stuff like that. And they're fairly cheap. They're not too expensive for you to get a good graphics kit or a good backgrounds from them. And like I said, they're pretty fast. They got that here to me within a couple of days because it was crunch time when we decided to order them. And Bike Graphics did a good job of getting that to me on time. Dunlop has been a long-time sponsor of mine, and they were able to get me out a set of good tires for the race, which, like I said, we haven't got a chance to use them, but I have ridden the bike twice on the track, and I like the way that these tires ride. In the rear, I decided to go with the Geomax MX52. It is an intermediate tire, which is pretty good. It's got some really good grip. It's real good. It grips in the berms. I can dump the clutch and not have to worry about sliding out. In the front, we decided to run a soft tire. We're running the Geomax MX33F, which I really, really like this tire. And for me riding it on the street, doing some urban moto and stuff like that, it's held up pretty well. It's still got all the tread, all the knobs. It's a very solid tire, so I'd like to thank Dunlop once again for coming on board with this build and helping me out in crunch time when I needed it. As for brake rotors, I normally run just a regular disc, but I had these laying around, so I went with the wave rotors on this bike. Pretty good stop power. I'm not too sure on the front because I really have not ran a front brake yet, but I do have the wave rotors in the rear as well, and it's just a dual caliper piston, and she's got some really good stop power. The lever is real sensitive, so I need to do some adjusting on that so I don't skid and slide my life away. But yeah, I like the wave rotors on here. It really complements the wheels. It actually complements the bike really well. It looks pretty good. And it's actually functional. It's not just a look. Alright, now getting into the motor. For the carburetor, I'm running a VM22 26mm carburetor. It is the Mikuni replica. It's factory jetted. I haven't changed anything in it. Everything works really, really good on it so far. Lots and lots of power increase when I put it on the bike. This bike's been through 3 different motors. It started out as a 125 with the regular Apollo Life and motor in it. Then it went to a 110 from a Crate Fire bike, which I still have that motor. And then now it is a 125 motor with a V2 race head on it. So yeah, the carburetor really complements this bike really well. It gives it a lot of power, and I probably wouldn't change a thing. I'm actually going to order a couple more of these because I like the way that it performs, and if something was to go wrong with this, all I have to do is just pull it off, 2 bolts, unscrew the cap, and bam, throw another one on there. And for 35 bucks, you can't beat it. Now on to the motor. As I said, it is a 125cc motor with a race head, and when I say race head, it has the bigger valves in it that usually come in some of the Life and motors, LaFon, however you say it. But this is the big 2-valve motor right here, dressed up in the red anodized dress kit. Looks pretty good on there. Now, the bike really wasn't going to have any red anodizing or any stuff on there like that, but like I said, it just complements the bike really well. And this is an RFZ, so this is an actual Apollo motor in here. But yeah, she runs really pristine. She fires up. She's really good. We have the angle intake manifold on there to kind of get the carburetor out of the way of the frame. Yeah, there she is. As for wiring, we have all our wires tucked up in there. We just have a regular stator on here right now. I will be running an inner rotor kit on this motor and on the 160 motor that I'm building right now. But we do have a high performance coil on here as well. That makes for a really good spark. It makes the bike start really good, and it's real responsive. Stock CDI box. I do have 2 racing CDIs. That way I can change out the rev a little bit on here, but for now I'm just running the stock, and everything is just zip tied in place right now. Like I said, tracks and stuff aren't up and running, but we will have everything put back and out of the way here in a little bit. But everything's just zip tied up in there. This is just your basic wiring harness right here. Doesn't have the lights, no rectifier, no stator, no nothing like that. Just a nice basic simple setup, and it does the job. This is from when I used to have the CDI mounted back up here on the tab. The wire would always hit against my leg and it caught onto the pipe and burnt up, but it's just the plastic, so we're good. She still runs, she still fires. Alright, exhaust pipe. We have our header pipe, which is just a basic 28mm pipe that goes all the way back up into here, and then it goes down into the exhaust, which it has some welds on it because there were some modifications needed for this exhaust, because this is a 38mm big bore exhaust instead of the standard 28mm exhaust. So it goes from 28 all the way up until it hits the canister, and then it has a weld around it to fit into the 38mm, and it just makes this bike sound insane. And I just noticed that my netting is coming off back here, but yeah, there she is. That is a 38mm big bore exhaust. Bike sounds really good. At times, you can give this thing a real good snap of the throttle and it sounds like a 450. It is insane. You definitely can hear this bike coming from down the road, and I like it nice and loud and proud, and I'm not going to change anything. Right now, we are running a 15-tooth 420 sprocket up front. We have a 41-tooth rear sprocket down there, dressed up with an ST racing chain. Nice, pretty basic chain. They run about 18 bucks, so they're pretty inexpensive to get if you have a problem with your chain stretching or anything like that. I've ran this chain twice at the track, and I do run it through all my urban moto and stuff like that, and I haven't had a problem with it just yet. Actually, I take that back. I had it pop on me because I had the master link set backwards, and it popped on me when I was on a hot lap at the track, and lost the master link. I thought I stretched the chain. It tweaked just a little bit, but I was able to bend it back. But ever since then, I haven't had a problem with it. It hasn't flown off. I've been riding this thing every single day, and she is working just fine. Like the other side, we're dressed up with some red over here. We have our aftermarket shift lever, which is in gunmetal gray with the little red dress kit right there as well. And then she looks pretty good. Alright, as for suspension, we are running the Apollo 635mm forks with the regular Apollo 45 and 48mm triple clamp. Suspension feels real nice. It does not have the stock fluid in there. I am running 15 weight maximum oil. Really stiff, nice, good suspension up front. Rear shock is also an Apollo. It is a 335 millimeter. It was real crusty gold, so I went ahead and I painted it black. Real stiff. I do need to change the fluid in there, put some different fluid in there. I want to put some racing suspension fluid in there for maximum power as well. But it's real stiff. It handles real good. I haven't had an issue with it. It holds my weight. I'm 157 pounds, and for me to be on this little itty bitty pit bike, that shock holds really well, as well as the forks. Lever and brake lever, we have the unbreakables, just your basic black unbreakable levers. As you can see, I don't have a front brake setup on here just yet. I will. This master cylinder right here was from an ATV, so it had all these funky contraptions to lock your brake. I ended up taking that off. That way it wasn't in my way, my hands wouldn't hit it. But yeah, I like the unbreakables in case I fall over, which I've tipped this bike over plenty of times, and with the stock levers, they broke. One of them is actually still out in the street somewhere over there. But she looks real good. They feel real responsive. They're real adjustable. I like to run them all the way out. It just makes for, I don't know, I guess I kind of got big hands, but it makes it a lot easier to grab instead of them being kind of in, because some people run them like that to where it's like a real short grab. I like mine all the way out. That way I get the full feel of the clutch. At one point, this bike had white grips, which I thought at the time was a really good idea, but the first 5 minutes I put them on there, I had just got done working on the bike, and I went ahead and grabbed it, and boom, ever since then, they've been dirt yellow, manila white, whatever you want to call them. Those will be getting changed too as well, because ODI is a sponsor of mine, and I got some stuff on the way with those. We're running stock handlebars, but I also have sets and sets and sets of micro metal bars on the way. That is also a sponsor of the bike. Like I said, I'm thankful that a lot of people jumped on board with this build. Swing arm is just your traditional H-style swing arm. It is an 18-inch extended race swing arm, which Apollo is pretty standard. It comes on the RFZs, it comes on the DBs. The only time you get like a shorter swing arm is when you get like the 110 RFZs or the DB27s, which are just like the automatic smaller bikes, not full suspension. But yeah, it complements the forks and stuff real well. Like I said, the bike just feels great. That's why it's one of my favorite bikes. I like the setup. I like the feel. I wouldn't change it for a thing. We talked about the tires. We talked about the rotors. The wheels that I am running on this Apollo DB are actually from Apollo RFZ. They are takeoff wheels. One of our local shops out here does a bunch of takeoffs of crate bikes that they get that are damaged and stuff like that. So I bought these wheels new for $130 for the set. They're matte black with matte black hubs with the polished spoke. We got the 12-inch in the rear. We got the 14 in the front. Real solid wheels. I haven't had a bend in them yet. All the spokes and stuff stay nice and tight. I do go over them before I ride. When I ride track, at least. When I'm doing urban moto, I'm not too fragile with it, but I do check them after rides and stuff like that. But I haven't had an issue with them just yet. Seem to do a pretty good job of holding their paint and stuff too. I know when changing out tires and stuff like that, it chips up real well. They're holding their paint. They look really good. They complement the bike really well, and they're not too heavy either as well. They're a really lightweight wheel. They're just Apollo takeoff, so it was the right thing to do to put them on an Apollo bike. Alright, and there you guys have it. This is just your basic average Joe everyday Apollo race bike. A lot of people would say, oh, it's not a race bike. Well, this actually was built for the 12-inch mod class. We will be doing Pitbike straight rhythm here in May, and then we start arena cross in June. So it's just something to show you guys that you don't have to go out and spend $3,800 to $4,000 modding out a CRF or a KLX. You can compete on an Apollo, and a lot of people say, oh, it's Chinese. Apollo is actually Canadian. I back this bike 100%. I wouldn't change anything that I've done to the bike other than adding parts that some of these companies are sending me, because if those companies are willing to back this bike and to back me and have confidence in this build, then there's nothing I can do other than go out and try to prove results and be grateful that those companies are backing me in this bike. So I'm more than appreciative, and I can't wait to show everybody what the Apollo is capable of, show everybody what I'm capable of, and yeah, just have faith in my build and go out and ride it the way that the bike was meant to be ridden. I look forward to many, many races, many events on this bike. I can't believe that I actually built this bike up from the ground. When I got it, it was a rust bucket. I actually traded my 2006 CRF 250 for this bike, and I wouldn't go back on it. This was one of the bikes that I set focus on. I like the style, I like the way it feels, and I can't wait to put some results down and prove everybody who has any doubts wrong. Alright guys, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting this channel, for giving these videos views, for all your feedback, for all your interactions throughout Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the social media outlets that me and this bike are focused on. If you could, subscribe. We are almost to 100 subscribers. A lot of people would say that's not a lot, but to me that's a milestone. When I started making these videos, I didn't even think anybody would watch them, let alone interact. I've met some great people through this. I look forward to keep on meeting more people, making more race friends, more track buddies, more people to be in the videos. Give this video a like if you like it. If you don't like the bike, then that's your preference of choice. I have nothing against KLXs, CRFs. I do plan on adding a CRF to the family. That's a secret. Don't tell anybody. But yeah, just something to make the channel a little more diverse. It's not going to be just all Apollo. It's not going to be all just China stuff and stuff like that. So like I said, from the bottom of my heart, guys, thank you. I appreciate it. The bike appreciates it. We're not getting paid for this. This channel isn't monetized. 100 subscribers, you should know that by now. So everything that I pour into this bike is blood, sweat, and tears. And there's a lot of blood and sweat and a little bit of tears every now and then. But like I said, I appreciate you guys for watching this. I appreciate you guys for supporting me. Thank you to all the companies: Dunlop, Mica Metals, ODI, GoPro, Motul, North USA. There's so many more that I can list that I should be listing that I don't know off the top of my head right now. I'd have to go back and check my list. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to my cousin Brokefoot for being a good part of the channel, for supporting me in my builds, for sharing my passion of motocross with me. Yeah, just want to say thank you to everybody. Like this video, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one.